हेलो डियर लर्नर्स, वेलकम टू माय चैनल एम्ब्रेस बायोटा। आज के लेक्चर में हम टेरिडोफाइट्स के इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स को डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। बिफोर दिस हमने ब्रायोफाइट्स के यूनिक और इम्पॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टर्स को डिस्कस कर लिया है। अबाउट 80% चांसेस यहीं से क्वेश्चंस आने के रहते हैं। नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट अवर लेक्चर विच इज इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स रिलेटेड टू द टेरिडोफाइट्स। ब्रायोफाइट्स के बाद हमारे पास आते हैं टेरिडोफाइट्स। द स्टडी ऑफ टेरिडोफाइट्स इज नॉन एज टेरिडोलॉजी। हम टेरिडोफाइट की टर्म्स को डिकोड करें तो हमारे पास आता है टिरॉन विच मीन्स फेदर एंड फाइटा मीन्स प्लांट. So it means the arrangement of leaf is feather-like. Father of teridology is Boer. फादर ऑफ इंडियन टेरिडोलॉजी S.R. वीर को कहा जाता है। फेमस इंडियन टेरिडोलॉजिस्ट की बात करें तो उसमें हमारे पास P.N. मेहरा का नाम आता है। इन टेरिडोफाइट्स द मेन प्लांट बॉडी इज स्पोरोफाइट। अभी तक हमने जितने भी डिवीजन पढ़े उनमें मेन प्लांट बॉडी गेमिटोफाइट थी। In pteridophyte, the plant body is differentiated into true leaves, stem and root. Bryophytes में हमें ये केस देखने को नहीं मिलता था। Here the exception lies in the Psilopsida. Psilopsida एक primitive pteridophyte है जो कि Thylophyta है। Psilopsida में हमारे पास Xylotum, Rahinia, Horneophyton और Asteroxylon आते हैं। Psilopsida leaves and roots are absent but the rhizoids are present. टेरिडोफाइट की बात करें तो फर्स्ट टाइम वस्कुलर बंडल टेरिडोफाइट में अपीयर हुआ था। That's why the pteridophyte is known as vascular cryptogams. Another term we can say is vascular embryophyta or tracheate embryophyta. Pteridophytes are the first sexual land plants. These are also known as reptile of plant kingdom, botanical snakes or the snakes of the plant kingdom. Just like bryophytes, pteridophytes also need water for fertilization. The zygote is differentiated into well-defined root, leaf, stem and foot. Foot is meant for the absorption of nutrition from the gametophyte only during the embryonic development. Striking point about the pteridophyte is that the sporophyte dependent upon gametophyte only during the embryonic stages. ऐसे ही sporophyte differentiate हो जाता है root, stem and leaves में, it becomes independent. This point makes pteridophyte unique among the plant kingdom. हम pteridophyte की body structure को देखें तो these are small and in case of Azolla and Marsilia. Giant and large pteridophytes are known as tree ferns seen in Angiopteris, Osmunda, Lepidodendron and Scythia. Smallest pteridophyte we have is Azolla pinnata. Scythia is the largest pteridophyte and the Alsophilia is the longest pteridophyte. Pteridophyte की classification देखें तो इन्हें further 4 classes में divide करा है। First class is the Psilopsida. Psilopsida are primitive pteridophytes. These are the first vascular plant and the true leaves and roots are absent here, but the stem is present. Rhizoid is also there. क्योंकि इसमें हमारे पास stem ही present है, that's why the vascular bundle is only restricted to the stem region. And the sporangia also develop at the tip of the stem and is known as coralline sporangia. Psilopsida में major examples हैं Xylotum, Rahinia, Horneophyton and Cooksonia. Among these, Cooksonia is the most primitive. Next class we have is Lycopsida. Important characteristic feature of the Lycopsida is the monopodial branching. Lycopsida includes Lycopodium and Selaginella. Class third is the Sphenopsida. Here the sporangia get compact and form the cones. Major example here is Equisetum known as horsetail. In Equisetum the traces of gold are present and elaters are here for spore dispersal. Elaters के बारे में हमने Bryophytes में भी पढ़ा है। Advanced class of the pteridophytes is the Pteropsida. It includes the ferns. Example of ferns are Pteris, Bryopteris and Pteridium. So the most primitive land plant we have is Cooksonia. The origin of Pteridophyta occur in Silurian period of Paleozoic era. And the dominant period of the Pteridophyte was Devonian period. And the important thing is that the Carboniferous era is known as the era of Pteridophytes because they die here and form the coal bed. Now talking about the habitat of pteridophyte. The aquatic species are Azolla, Marshallia, Isoids, Salvania and Ceratopteris. Climbers also seen example is Lygodium. Xerophytic pteridophytes include the Selaginella species and Equisetum. Halophyte pteridophyte is Acherostychum. Epiphytic species are Xylotum, Pleopeltis, Selaginella, and Lycopodium. Marshallia shows the various habitat like terrestrial, amphibian, and aquatic. And the important thing is that the Selaginella Bryopteris is known as संजीवनी plant. ये वही संजीवनी plant है जिसे हनुमान जी उठा के लाए थे. This is also known as resurrection plant. एक्सटर्नल मॉर्फोलॉजी की बात करें तो प्लांट बॉडी इन द टेरिडोफाइट्स इज स्पोरोफाइट. दीज आर द फर्स्ट कॉर्मोफाइट एज द फर्स्ट टाइम true root, true stem and leaves appear here. Mostly these are herbaceous but some are woody like tree ferns. Tree ferns include Osmunda, Lepidodendron and Scythia. Pteridophyte के root की बात करें तो these are absent in Psilopsida as rhizoids are present there. Pteridophytes में primary root is epihermal that is short-lived. So it is temporary, disintegrate and endogenous in origin. Later on the adventitious roots dwell from the stem and these are permanent and exogenous in origin. There are various type of stem is seen in pteridophyte. सबसे पहले है aerial, erect and cylindrical stem. Examples include Psilopsida and Lycopodium. Prostate and creeping type of branch is seen in Selaginella. The rhizophore are present in Selaginella. And the climbing type of stem is seen in Lygodium. Underground stems are also there. These can be corm-like as in case of Isoids and Rhizomatous. The Rhizomatous stem is the short in case of Bryopteris and Ophioglossum. It is long in case of Pteridium. The rhizome is partially underground and partially aerial in case of Equisetum and Bryopteris. यहाँ मैंने हर क्लास की डायग्राम ड्रॉ करी है जिससे आपको इनकी मॉर्फोलॉजी का आइडिया लग सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल साइलोसीडा में ओनली स्टेम इज प्रेजेंट एंड द रूट इज रिप्लेस्ड बाय राइजोइड. लाइकोप्सीडा में हमारे पास लाइकोपोडियम प्रेजेंट है और सिलेजिनेला में राइजोफोर देखने को मिलता है. वेयर एज इन स्फिनोप्सीडा कोन फॉर्मेशन टेक्स प्लेस. आल्सो द राइजोम इज सीन. स्फिनोप्सीडा और टीरोप्सीडा में हमें राइजोम देखने को मिलता है. टीरोप्सीडा लीफ स्क्वायर और लीफ ट्रेसेस आर आल्सो सीन. ब्रांचिंग की बात करें तो मोनोपोडियल ब्रांचेस इज सीन इन द लाइकोपोडियम एंड सिलेजिनेला. डाइकोटोमस ब्रांचिंग इज सीन इन द लाइगोडियम एंड मार्शिलिया. In Marshallia, the extra axillary branches are also there. These arise from the base of the leaf. अब बात करते हैं टेरिडोफाइट के लीव्स के बारे में. जैसा कि हमने पहले भी देखा, साइलोप्सीडा lacks the leaf. In टेरिडोफाइटा the leaves are differentiated into microphyllous leaves and megaphylous leaves. As the name suggests, microphyllous small leaves हैं and these are sessile. In this leaf, the petiole is absent. The leaves have single midrib and the venation is absent. Microphyllous leaves have no leaf gap or leaf traces. These are scaly leaf in case of Equisetum and ligulate or tongue-like in Selaginella. Example of microphyllous leaves are Lycopodium, Selaginella and Marshallia leaves. The megaphylous leaves are the large leaves and are petiolated. These are the compound leaves, can be pinnately compound or palmately compound. In these leaves, venation is present. These leaves are characterized by the presence of leaf traces. The specific name is given to the large leaf of the fern and that is frond. In Bryopteris and Marshallia, the young leaf shows the circinate vernation. In circinate vernation, the young leaves tight up and they fold and forms the protecting covering. These leaves also shows dichotomous venation. But in the Bryopteris, it is open type and in Marshallia, it is closed type. The leaf is of two types. First one is the vegetative and the second one is the reproductive, known as sporophyll. The vegetative leaf has a role in photosynthesis and the sporophyll wears the sporangia which contains spores. So the pteridophytes reproduce by spores. These spores are produced in the sporangia. Sporangia worn on the ventral side of the leaf, and the leaf, those who bear sporangia are known as sporophyll or reproductive leaf. अब बात करते हैं इन sporangia के arrangement की. Sporangia are regularly distributed in case of Adiantum, Bryophytes, Pteris and Pteridium. These are compactly arranged and may form the strobilus or cones. The strobilus is seen in Selaginella and Lycopodium. Sporangia forms cone in case of Equisetum. The sporangia which are worn on the stem tip is known as coralline sporangia. It is the characteristic feature of Psilocida. Sometimes the sporangia is present in bag-like structure known as sporocarp. The sporocarp is seen in Salvinia, Marsilia and Azolla. Sporangia also arranged in the cluster known as sori. The presence of sori is the feature of Filicales order. These sori can be of three types. First one is the simple sorus, where all the sporangia appear and mature at the same time. Example of simple sorus are Ophioglossum and Votrichium. Second is the graded sorus. In graded sorus, the old sporangia are at the center and the young sporangia is present at periphery. It is seen in Salvinia, Isoids, Marsilia and Scythia. Third is the mixed sorus. In mixed sorus, old and young sorus are intermingled together. Examples are Adiantum, Bryophytes, Pteridium and Pteris. The sorus may be naked or may be covered. Covering of the sorus is known as indusium. Indusium may be true indusium or false. In true indusium, the sorus is covered by a membranous structure which is formed from the placenta. Example is Bryophytes. False indusium is the extension of leaf lamina which covers the sorus. It is seen in Pteris and Adiantum. When we see the internal anatomy of the pteridophyte, we can say that these are the vascular cryptogams. It consists of vascular tissues, both xylem and phloem. In the xylem, only tracheids are present and vessel elements are absent. But the exception also lies where the vessels are present, like some species of Pteridium or Pteris. Phloem में seed cells present रहते हैं instead of seed tube. Companion cells are absent, but the seed tube is seen in the some species of Equisetum. The arrangement of the xylem is exarch and diarch. In case of Equisetum, tetrarch condition is seen. Tracheids की बात करें तो these are present in pteridophytes, gymnosperms as well as angiosperms. That is, the evolution of tracheids start from the pteridophyte. But vessels are absent in the pteridophyte. It occurs only in the angiosperms. The tracheids and vessels together form the headrome, which is the conducting tissue of the xylem. Leptome is known as conducting tissue of the phloem. The exarch or centripetal condition is the feature of pteridophyte, and the most important is that mesarch condition, which is seen in the rhizome of fern. Here, two metaxylem surrounds the protoxylem. Also in Selaginella, the endodermis is rod-like, known as trabeculae. Another important point is development of sporangia. The sporangia can be eusporangiate type or leptosporangiate type. In eusporangiate type, the sporangia dwell from a group of cells, and in case of leptosporangiate, the sporangia dwell only from the single cell. Example of eusporangiate are Xylotum, Lycopodium, Selaginella and Equisetum. You can learn it with a simple trick, that is pulse. Sporangia is leptosporangiate in case of Bryophytes, Pteris, Pteridium, Azolla, Salvinia and Marsilia. After the development of sporangia, हम बात करेंगे spore के बारे में. The spore is the first cell of the gametophytic generation. It is unicelled and uninucleated, covered with the outer exine and the inner intine, just like the pollen grain. Most important thing is that spore of Equisetum contains the chloroplast and its exine break out into 4-spooned elater. Elaters are hygroscopic in nature and help in spore dispersal. The spores in the pteridophytes can be homosporous or heterosporous. Homosporous are those species of pteridophyte in which only one type of spores are present. It includes Lycopodium, Xylotum, Pteris, Pteridium and Bryophytes. And in heterosporous, two types of spores are present. First is microspores and second is megaspores. As the name suggests, microspores are formed in microsporangia on the microsporophyll, whereas megaspores are formed in megasporangium on megasporophyll. The both type of spores are seen in Azolla, Salvinia, Selaginella, Isoetes and Marsillia. If we compare pteridophyte with other plant groups, we can say that bryophytes are homosporous, pteridophytes are both hetero as well as homosporous, and gymnosperms and angiosperms are totally heterosporous. The microspores are produced in microsporangia and borne on microsporophyll. And megaspore is produced in megasporangia borne on megasporophyll. आप इधर करेक्शन कर लेना, मैंने गलती से माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया एंड मेगास्पोरेंजिया लिख दिया है इंस्टेड ऑफ माइक्रोस्पोरोफिल एंड मेगास्पोरोफिल. In the pteridophytes, the muscular tissue is present where the cambium is absent. So there is no secondary growth in the pteridophyte. Where the exception lies in case of isoetes and botrachum. The spores germinate and produce the gametophyte known as prothallus. The prothallus is green, that is photosynthetic, is short-lived and independent. Next is the sex organs of pteridophytes. Important point is to be noted that as we move from bryophyte to gymnosperms, the size of the archegonia decrease due to the decrease in the number of the neck canal cells. In gymnosperms, the neck canal cells are totally absent. So the bryophyte has more number of neck canal cells as compared to the pteridophytes. The sex organs in pteridophytes are multicellular and jacketed. Male sex organ is antheridium and the female sex organ is archegonium. Antheridium may be embedded and projected outward. It is embedded in case of Lycopodium and Selaginella. Antheridium is projected in Xylotum and Pteris. The female sex organ consists of a neck and a venter. Venter consists of venter canal cells and egg. In the neck, there are 4 vertical rows of the neck cells and 2 neck canal cells. But if we see Selaginella and Pteridium, there are only 1 neck canal cell. And the Lycopodium consists of the 14 neck canal cells. So the Lycopodium has the largest archegonia in pteridophyte. अगर male sex organ को देखें तो it is surrounded by a sterile jacket and inside it there are fertile cells. Fertile cells are the androcyte which forms the antherozoid. Antherozoid are biflagellated in Lycopodium and Selaginella and multiflagellated in the rest of the pteridophytes. Fertilization in pteridophyte is the zoidogamous. Antheridium swims and comes near the archegonia. The product of fertilization is zygote. Zygote divide into apical cell and basal cell. From the apical cell, shoot system originate and the basal cell give rise to the foot and root. अगर हम एम्ब्रियो की बात करें, it can be exoscopic or endoscopic. In exoscopic, the apex of embryo is directed upward. Examples are Xylotum, Equisetum and Ophioglossum. Whereas in endoscopic embryo, the apex of embryo is toward the base of venter. It is present in Lycopodium and Selaginella. So this is all about the important characteristics of pteridophytes. Pteridophytes के important genera Equisetum and Selaginella को हम shorts के through cover करेंगे. For the notes आप मेरे Telegram channel को visit कर सकते हैं जिसका link आपको description में मिल जाएगा. If you find this video helpful, subscribe the channel. My name is Anna Sharma and thanks for watching.